رضيت الفاهم. جزاكم الله خير. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. إن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. إن شر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة. أما بعد فما قل وكفى خير مما كثر وألهى وإنما توعدون لآت وما أنتم بمعجزين. Today inshallah topic is going to be about justice in Islam. And how is it that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala made adl and qist big part of our morals, and He made it a theme for Islam. As Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala ordered the believers to establish qist and adl, He started Tabaraka wa Ta'ala with Himself. So imagine a country, a town, a village that has a leader, and if this leader himself is making sure to establish justice in every situation, what would you imagine this country to be, or this town to be like? It's going to be based on justice for the most part. وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala did not order us to establish justice and adl and qist, except that He even made it upon Himself. And the hadith actually that Al-Hafiz al-Nawawi rahimahullah mentioned in one of his books, and he did not in that book mention the chain of narrations for pretty much all the hadith that he had. But for one hadith, he started to put all the chain of narration, like the people that actually transfer the hadith from one to another, the scholars that actually delivered the hadith to us. And when he basically was clarifying this, he said that because the people that actually gave us this hadith, transformed this hadith to us, they are both ulama, they are scholars, and they are also ubbad, they are worshippers in the same time. It's very known that they implement what they preach. And perhaps that this actually hadith had a special impact on them that changed them. So they knew the hadith firsthand, they felt it, they understood it, and then they implemented it in their life. One of those narrations, he used to cry a lot before entering into the salah and shake. And people, they say, why are you crying? Why are you shaking? He would say, I always imagine that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala in front of me, the fire behind me, and I'm standing on the sirat, and I just get that thinking and that feel, and then I just go to another world and I get the fear of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala in my heart. So the first Sahabi that this hadith is in his authority, Abu Dharr al-Ghifari, and he was very well known for his zuhd, and he would actually prefer to just like not have money, not have any luxurious life, very simple stuff in his life, and he would direct his time to the ibadah of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. In his authority, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that Allah said, Ya ibadi, inni haramtu dhulma ala nafsi. O my servants, I made oppression forbidden for myself. وَجَعَلْتُهُ بَيْنَكُمْ مُحَرَّمًا. And I made it forbidden for you as well. فَلَا تَظَالَمُوا. Do not oppress one another. And the hadith is actually very long, but we can see how that this hadith is starting. And I will mention the last part of the hadith, which is emphasizing what basically the hadith is saying and summarizing what the hadith is saying. Allah Ta'ala in the end of the hadith, He says, إِنَّمَا هِيَ أَعْمَالُكُمْ. Indeed, it is your actions. أُحْصِيهَا لَكُمْ. I count it for you. I bring it together for you. ثُمَّ أُوَفِّيكُمْ إِيَّاهَا. Then I will fulfill that to you. I will give you that reward for that, for your deeds. فَمَنْ وَجَدَ خَيْرًا فَلْيَحْمَدِ اللَّهِ. Whoever will find good, let him thank Allah for the good that he's going to see. Because with Allah's success, he was able to do the good deeds. وَمَنْ وَجَدَ غَيْرَ ذَلِكَ فَلَا يَلُومَنَّ إِلَّا نَفْسَهُ. And whoever find anything else beside the khayr, meaning bad, punishment, torturement, let him not blame anyone else except himself for what he is going to face. Why? Because Allah Ta'ala is just. Allah is al-haq. And Allah Ta'ala will never put anyone into punishment if the justice of Allah Ta'ala with him going to the Jannah. In fact, Allah Ta'ala will use His mercy to release some people from Jahannam that maybe their deeds are not actually qualified to put him into Jannah. Also, another hadith about justice and about pushing the oppression. Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu, he said that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Unsur akhaka zaliman aw mazluman." Support your brother, give victory to your brother, help your brother, whether he's oppressor or oppressed. So the Sahaba, they asked, we do understand if my Muslim brother is oppressed, I'm going to give him support, I'm going to be next to him. But how is it that I'm going to help my brother if he's an oppressor? So Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he repeated, بأن تأخذ على يديه أو بأن تأخذ فوق يديه. You take on top of his hand. It means, in its expression, you hold his hand. So you won't express this oppression anymore or unjust anymore. So you will stop him basically from doing that. This is the help you're doing to him and the help you're doing to others. That you stopping him from oppressing others. So he won't see that as a punishment later on. He might remember, he might stop because of your action. In the time of, and the hadith was in the Bukhari, in the time of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, the great Khalifa of Muslims, and some they consider him the fifth Khalifa of Khulafa al-Rashidin, he, in his time, the Muslim army, they marched into a town, and they actually entered the town, occupied the town. And the people in that town, they sent someone to talk to Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. And he complained and said that Muslims did not actually warn us before they come into that town. Muslims, they did not tell us anything. They did not negotiate with us. They did not see our intentions or what we want to do. They just came in and they conquered the place. So Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, he actually sent a judge, someone to investigate. And when he found that what they say is true, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, he ordered the troops and the Muslim military to leave and exit the town and go back again. Do we hear anything like that nowadays? Subhanallah. You can't hear anything like this except in the Muslim history and tradition. When they actually left, the people of that town, they realized what kind of justice that the Muslims have in their country, and they all decided to convert to Islam. Subhanallah. So they know that we're not part of this country, we're not part of this community, and we are heard, we are getting our rights. So what if we are a part of this community? In the time of the Abbasid Khilafah, some of the Khalifas, they actually wanted to remove Christians from Lebanon. Why? Because the Christians at this time, they were talking to the Byzants, or the Byzantine, and they having some like transformation of information, and they had some spies and some stuff going on. So he wanted to just like let them all go out. And then he was told by Imam al-Awza'i that no, that is not right. Because you should not punish the whole entire community. You should not apply collective punishment while some group of people, they actually committed that problem or this crime. So when someone thinks that, oh, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he actually put the Jews out of Medina. So how is that making sense? So the Christians in the time of Al-Abbasi, that they were Ahlu Dhimma. They were living among the Muslims. They were actually paying the jizya for the Muslims. They were protected by the Muslims. So for them to do that, they betrayed the country that actually given them all the rights. In the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Jews actually were mu'ahideen, not Ahlul Dhimma. So the Jews, they were all together in one community. There was no supervision from Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the companions over them. They could do whatever they want in their territory, in their place in Medina. And they decided, and they made a treaty with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and decided to break that treaty and to go against Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There was a sultan or king, his name was Sulaiman al-Qanuni, and this was in the Autumn Khilafah, and he actually made a lot of laws. That's why he was called al-Qanuni, the law. And he actually, when he was about to die, he asked people to put certain box that he pointed at, to bury this box with him in the grave. And the reason for that, because this box includes all the orders and the commands that he actually gave in his life as a sultan or as a king. And he would write in each order, in each paper, this order I wrote, this order I took, with the advice, with the fatwa of this scholar. Subhanallah. So he won't be feeling that I transgressed, I did any dhulm to anyone. I went with the fatwa of the scholars. I asked, I investigated before I do that. Nowadays, it's totally different. Nowadays, when none other than Muslims are having the control, having the power, they doing the oppression left and right. You can see easily the verse of Allah Ta'ala coming right in front of our eyes when you see one of the IS, I won't call them IDF, the Israeli criminals, or IC, they actually go into a mosque in Jenin, in Palestine, and shooting everyone around the mosque so no one can actually enter. Get into the speaker and reciting their own stuff and doing their own stuff, mocking Muslims and telling Muslims that we can do whatever we want even in your masjids. So this is a time that you actually remember the ayah that Allah Ta'ala said, وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنْ مَنَعَ مَسَاجِدَ اللَّهِ أَنْ يُذْكَرَ فِيهَا اسْمُهُ وَسَعَى فِي خَرَابِهَا. Who is this more oppressor than a person that made people not come into the masjid? He forbid people from coming to the masjid. He stopped people from coming to the masjid and mentioning the name of Allah, وَسَعَى فِي خَرَابِهَا, and he's trying to destroy those masjids. أُولَٰئِكَ, and this is the glad tidings that Allah Ta'ala given us, أُولَٰئِكَ مَا كَانَ لَهُمْ أَن يَدْخُلُوهَا إِلَّا خَائِفِينَ. Those people, this kind of oppressors, it is not made for them except that Allah made it a law that they will never enter those masjids except that they're going to be very scared. لَهُمْ فِي الدُّنْيَا خِزْيٌ. They will have a shameness in this life. وَلَهُمْ فِي الْآخِرَةِ عَذَابٌ عَظِيمٌ. And they will have in Akhirah a very great torture. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين ولي المتقين والصلاة والسلام على إمام المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحابته أجمعين. أما بعد, even today's day and situation, if we go to like ChatGPT, which they call the artificial intelligence, and you ask the question, does Palestinians deserve to be free, or do Palestinians deserve to be free? And then you ask the same questions about the Israelis, you'll find totally different answers, subhanAllah. Why? Someone I've watched a video about, he was saying that this is not artificial, because it's made up. And it is not intelligent. It's not intelligent, because it's not actually even calling for equality, while the justice is what we call for, not equality actually, because even equality is wrong in Islam. So the answer for the Palestinians is a complex and sensitive topic. It involves historical and political and ethical considerations. People have different opinions on the matter. It also depends on individual perspective and beliefs. The answer, when you change the one word from Palestinian to Israelis, immediately it will say yes. Like any group of people, Israelis also deserve to live in freedom and security. The right to freedom is a fundamental human right, and it applies to all individuals and communities. SubhanAllah. So that summarize what we actually facing right now and what we are doing. What should we do about this? Is we return back to the deen. We return back to the Quran. We have all the guidance from Allah Ta'ala, and we need to be the right Muslims. The material, the tool is right here. It's Islam. But we are not yet using the tools as we should be. So we ask Allah Ta'ala to give victory to our brothers. And we ask Allah Ta'ala to treat the oppressors with what they deserve. And we ask Allah Ta'ala to free Palestine and to free al-Masjid al-Aqsa and to return it back to us safely. Allahumma ameen. Allahumma aghfir lana dhunubana wa israfana fi amrina wa thabbit aqdamana wa ansurna ala al-qawmi al-kafirin. Allahumma alayka bil-zalimin. اللهم عليك يا رب العالمين بمن حارب الدين. اللهم عليك بهم فإنهم لا يعجزونك. اللهم أحصهم عددا وقتلهم بددا ولا تغادر منهم أحدا. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين في كل مكان يا رب العالمين. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين في فلسطين. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين في غزة. اللهم افكك أسرهم. اللهم فك أسرهم. اللهم ارحم موتاهم. اللهم داوي مريضهم يا رب العالمين. اللهم داوي جرحاهم. اللهم أسكنهم وآوهم. اللهم ارزقهم الأمن يا رب العالمين. اللهم أنزل على قلوبهم الصبر والسكينة من عندك. اللهم اقبلهم في الشهداء يا أرحم الراحمين. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحابته أجمعين وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.